I was reading the comments on a video I did titled Reconditioning the Conditioned Black Community. Usually when I do videos like this, I get responses from black folks, especially black males, and even white males. Now, I'm going to respond to a comment that was made by a white male. I assume that he's white. And his name is Joel Collins on YouTube. He says in his video, first of all, I want to address this. He says, watch your video again and you have great points. Always forward with your work. Sad thing is why everything has to be about color and not just the person. Stop right there. Now you can go back to that video and read the comment in its entirety. Now, I responded to him and says, because the bulk of society only see color, especially in the black community. They can't get past colorism. So you have to speak in a language basically that they understand. And then I said, Colin Flaherty. Now, I mentioned him because in another comment he made, he mentioned, he says, Colin Flaherty did a video on a young black kid that won a scholarship for poetry. This young man did a great job making a video on how great black culture is. He spoke well of the black families. This young man was killed, shot to death on his way to surprise his mom, shot at the front door by another black kid for no reason. Okay, and then he goes on to say he enjoyed the videos. I appreciate that. So, in my comment to him or response to him, I said Colin Flaherty does the same thing. And he is praised for it, not just by white people, but also black people. And I ask, did you give him the same suggestion or ask him the same question on why his channel is comprised of the violent and criminal blacks? So when I speak on black and white, I hate speaking on black and white issues because my life is beyond that. Okay, I've lived that lifestyle coming up in the 60s and the 70s. Time has evolved. Many people have evolved. We see it every day when we come out of our homes. Now there are those that still hold on to racism and hatred. They still hold on to colorism. My messages are not for them. My messages are for those that want to progress, to move forward, to advance beyond colorism. Of course, racism, discrimination will be there. But we cannot allow it to control and dictate our lives. We can't allow it to control and dictate our lives. So, yes, I'm hoping that one day we can see past color and see the person as well. But in this day and time, racism has been resurrected. And I made a comment in videos of the past that in today's time, black people or so-called black people are the most racist people today. Now, there's people that come from other countries that hate us for no reason. And maybe it's because of what they see on television, what is fed to them through the media, from what they experience dealing with today's blacks, or many of today's blacks. Because when we turn on the news, or we step outside, or even just go to the store, we have to deal with violence and negativity from black folk. And it's gotten to the place where many black people, or so-called black people, cannot stand nor live nor even want to date black people. So when it comes to colorism, I think that the black community is in the condition it's in. And like I mentioned, we need to stop blaming other people and take responsibility for ourselves. Another comment he made, which I was going to speak on it in this video, but I had so much going through my mind, it kind of slipped it. And maybe I did mention it. I have to go back and watch that video again. It says a number of places that offered basketball stopped. That's the only thing that we really see in the black community as recreation for blacks, is a basketball court. We as a people do a lot more, or we have more talents and gifts than just playing basketball or singing and performing. We offer a whole lot more than that, because we, by nature, are a great people. Until the day that we recognize that we are great, we're going to remain below standard. We're going to remain in the condition, and the condition of the so-called black community will only get worse day by day. Unfortunately, I mentioned in videos of the past that black people will go back into captivity, and to date it's happening. Not like it was in the past. I'm not talking about that type of slavery. But many blacks will go into those FEMA camps, because as time passes, today's prisons will become the FEMA camps. They will become one. And already they're making preparation to get rid of many black, or so-called black Americans. So when I speak on issues like I did in this video, I'm speaking from the perspective that in life, regardless of what generation we're dealing with, life, technology advances, knowledge advances, and knowledge has always been here. We're just learning it. It's something new to us, but it has always been here. It's been in the universe. We're just now finding it. It's like hide and go seek or Easter egg hunts. We're constantly learning new ideas and new information that has always been here. So when I read comments, which is the issue I'm going to deal with now, it says a number of places that offered basketball to the inner city kids in the end closed them and took the backboards down due to violence. I always mention that charity starts at home and spreads abroad. See, so if there's violence and these kids are out of control, that goes back to the parents. Now you have a lot of so-called parents that want to blame the system. and talk about how if you discipline your child, and I always say there's a difference between discipline and abuse. So when parents felt hopeless, like they had no authority over their children, refused to stand up and fight that system that they felt took away their parental rights, instead of standing up fighting for your parental rights, you submitted. And now your children are out of control. Your children are dying at the hands of each other and law enforcement. Their life means nothing to the bulk of society because you gave up on them, like many black folks are giving up on their kids today. It's sad that whenever someone makes a video or offer some type of suggestion or an idea, you're going to always have black folk that's going to respond and want to tear it down or want to just debate. I'm tired of black folks debating everything and nothing is getting done. You're debating and arguing within yourself. And see, that's why a lot of these churches aren't being productive as well. Because even when churches try to come together, they can't come together because the pastors are fighting as to who's going to take the lead. Whose name is going to go up under. And that's not even the issue at hand. So, when it comes to knowledge, it never changes. It's the same. There's young people that have said to me, and I've heard them say, that they wish that in the times that we're living in now, were like the 70s, that we always talk about how good the 70s were. Yeah, we had our issues, but yet the families were closer. The information that was coming over the television was clean. The food was clean. We didn't go into the supermarket and see anything like organic. Organic didn't exist because everything was real. There was no need for organic food because it was already real. But we're living in different times now. And if you feel, for those of you who feel that the television is destroying people, well, you have a right to protest that. You protest everything else. Why not protest to save your kids? Why not fight to save your kids? Especially these dudes out here that always want a voice or think they have a voice to speak, but yet you leave that single parent mother to raise that child or those children by herself. And then you point the fingers at her and the white man for you not being there. But yet when somebody say, well, take care of your kids and start offering ideas or suggestions, you're ready to debate and tear it down. So I'm going to read a little further to what this guy says. It says he was killed, right? In front of his house. Okay, here it is. He said, black teens, not all, are not interested in things a generation ago was into. How do you know that? Unless you actually get out there and talk to these kids and find out what's in their head, do you think that they want to die? The example that he gave of this kid that was killed, that received a scholarship, do you think that child really want to die? And if they feel they do want to die, or they feel that life don't matter to them, it's conditional. They were conditioned to think that way. Life is made to be miserable for them because all they see in their communities, in their families, among their mothers and fathers is violence. Violence is constantly, repeatedly being praised in the black community. Look how many violent videos are always posted on the internet. And they're not just posted, but they're shared on the internet. We all do it. We all share it. Even if we have our opinions against it, we share them. And so now you have young people that will copycat because that's how you can become famous now. Now they're killing themselves online because people praise violence and death. See, so until adults change their ways, not so much as the young people. It's like my granddaughter coming up, right? I'm always telling her that she's beautiful. I'm always feeding her positive information. Sometimes it's difficult because she watch cartoons and they have hidden messages in those cartoons. So her parents have to be quite mindful on what she watched, even when she watched cartoons, because there's hidden messages in those cartoons. And so it's easy to say, like, well, throw away that idiot box or the television, get rid of that. They need to get out more. Okay, well, once they get out, who do they have to deal with? They have to deal with those negative kids with negative parents, and they're worried about losing their life or their friends losing their life. I felt really bad for my sons when they were in school, because when they came home, it was always like, wow, my friend, I just got done talking to him and he's dead now. Somebody killed him because of a life. And if you go outside right now it's 1:16 a.m. 29 seconds. If you go outside right now and walk down the street in the black community, you're going to see young black girls. More than likely, probably some of them got their kids with them. Or going to these corner stores, you'll see these young black boys in their teens. You think they will be preparing themselves for school in the morning. But no, at 1:16, they're somewhere at a corner store. Call themselves gang banging or drug dealing, or just hanging out. So in the morning when we wake up, we're going to hear about some 15-year-old kid, some 14-year-old child got shot to death because he was somewhere at a convenience store hanging out with some other violent teens, get into an argument or disagreement, or look at some female wrong or what they perceive as wrong, and then he loses life. But yet where the parents at to make those teens go home, get out of those streets? Where are the fathers at? There was a time, and even to this day they still have parents like that, where you mention the father to the young boy or young girl and they'll straighten up real quick. I'm going to call your dad. I'm going to call your father. Here come your father. But now, these demons that's coming up don't fear their parents, because the parents fear them. See, so I'm going to read, a little bit more of what he wrote. They close it down. Google it and you'll see black teens, not all, are not interested in things a generation ago was into. Look what happened the day after Christmas. 8 malls closed due to black teens attacking and looting the malls. Again, where were the parents? Look at the BART train in California. 50 plus black teens attacking the train riders. Where were the parents? They state only one phone was stolen, but yet the BART train refuses to show the video. They have admitted this already and is here on YouTube. Black families outside of the crime areas need to keep their kids safe by staying away from the inner city kids. You see how you label those that's in the inner city? Because every black family can't afford to be in the suburbs, on the outskirts. And they purposely jack up those prices to keep you out, because they really don't want you bringing that nonsense into their communities. Now, do they have their problems or their issues? Of course they do. Because I know some are going to comment and say like, well, white people do it too. See, that's your problem. You're so concerned about what everybody else is doing instead of looking at what's going on in your own front yard. See, so I don't take most of these so-called black males serious, especially the pro-black, because every time somebody offers suggestions, say, listen, you need to go home and take care of your kids, in spite of what goes on between you and the moms. You fight for everything else. Fight for your children. Fight to save their lives. Risk your life trying to save your child's life. You made those children. I didn't. The white man didn't. Nobody else. So why should I be a role model to your kids and they have a father? A father that's always talking, but yet care nothing about them. It's easy for you to point fingers. It's easy to talk about Hotep and black power, but yet you claim to love black people so much and talk about how black lives matter, but your kids' lives don't matter to you. Because you watched them die. You helped them to die. You helped kill them. You've assassinated your own kids. So you don't have a voice in the community because you contribute to the death of your own child. So now you have seniors that's afraid to even go to the store and get their newspaper because of your kids, because you have no control over your children. So people like Colin Flattery, I don't agree with his channel, but he's got a right to do that. He's posting videos on things that he see black folks do, especially your young black youth. I'm driving down the street today, and this is the second time I've seen it. It may be the same dude, maybe somebody different. But what was it, day before yesterday? And then yesterday, I'm driving down the street, you got this clown, this black dude got earplugs in his ear, walking in the middle of the road. Not where the line separates the oncoming and going traffic, but he was walking right in the middle of where cars travel. And it was like he was daring somebody to run him over. And then when the car goes by him, he yells out and tell him to bite down or whatever it was he said. But yet, if the police shoot him down, now everybody want to protest. Everybody want to talk about how Black Lives Matter and how he didn't have to get killed. But yet he was being a nuisance. So it's time out for talk. It's time out from all these so-called debates. Everything is not debatable. Stop trying to debate everything. If you're not working to try to make your community better, or to save your children, need to keep your mouth closed. Because even you don't matter. And anything that comes to you, you deserve it. So, feedback, tell me what you think. Check out the links I have on the bottom. Until next time, I'm fearless.